CBS's Margaret Brennan is on fire in this interview with Rick Scott. Margaret Brennan interviewed Rick Scott on CBS's Face the Nation earlier today. And Rick Scott is the chair of the National Republican Committee and former governor of Florida. And they covered topics such as Medicare. Side note, Rick Scott used to run a hospital company that was fined $1.7 billion for Medicare fraud, all the way to the upcoming 2022 election. And Margaret Brennan just did a wonderful job in this interview, asking great questions and not letting him get away with lying. Check it out.
Not look like there is any way to stop what is expected to be a very big win here for Democrats. And I know you're opposed to it, but I want to press you on that, because isn't expanding Medicare access good for a state like yours, which has more residents reliant on the Affordable Care Act than any other state? And Republicans like reducing the deficit. The CBO says this will reduce it by $100 billion over the next decade. Isn't there some good stuff in here for you, too?
So, Margaret, here's the way I look at it. Right now, this bill actually ought to be called the War on Seniors Act. I mean, this is a war on Medicare. You look at this. This is a $280 billion cut in Medicare. So what's going to happen is Medicare is going to get cut, and there's going to be seniors that don't get life-saving drugs because the pharmaceutical industries will not be able to have to.
Reducing Medicare costs is not the same as reducing benefits, though. You know that.
Margaret,
in a local radio interview in July, you talked a lot about your business as an executive, and you said we should start electing people that we would hire. In Georgia, Herschel Walker, Republican Senate candidate, has lied about the number of children he has, about his business dealings. His ex-wife said he held a gun to her head and said, "I'm going to blow your effing brains out." In Arizona, the candidate Blake Masters called the Unabomber an underrated thinker. He said that al-Qaeda doesn't actually pose substantial threat to Americans. I mean, I've got a list of candidates here who've had some and said some pretty troubling things. Would you hire these people to work for you?
well, you'd go through each person, but I'm not the one doing it. It's the voters of those states are doing it. The voters of those states are going to make a choice.
You're damn right we're going to make a choice.